Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. As always, Rich is here with another video on XRP today. So wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. I have to start with this from Digital Asset Investor before we discuss XRP. The quiet portion is now being set out by the CME Group. This is important because CME Group is the top derivatives marketplace in the world, and this is what they're saying about Solana and ETH. There is no cap on the number of coins that can be produced, but for XRP, 100 billion tokens were pre-mined, of which 38 billion are currently in escrow and up to 12 billion can be released annually. Because of this, trading expenses on the Ethereum, Solana, and XRP ledger blockchains are far lower than those on the Bitcoin blockchain. Additionally, their transaction processing speeds are far faster, roughly 1 to 5 minutes for Ethereum, 5 seconds for Solana, and 4 seconds for the XRP ledger. Compared to Bitcoin, this results in 400-500 times faster transaction processing, and possibly 30-40 times quicker than ETH. After that, they discuss energy-intensive proof of work and other topics. However, Rez adds that this generational riches is on the horizon. It is evident that as the crypto industry develops, formal legal structures governing it are starting to take shape. Diversification away from Bitcoin and onto cryptocurrency assets with more specific use cases like as ETH, Solana, and XRP is possible. I've been telling you what, now they're all beginning to look beyond Bitcoin. And do you recall this video that Jenny Johnson sent over to Franklin Templeton? This year, Franklin Templeton will attend Ripple Swell, and with regards to Bitcoin, she said this. Although most people only ever saw the first part of this video, she also discusses how disruptive cryptocurrencies would be across a number of industries. Listen to it. The biggest diversion from the biggest upheaval to financial services is Bitcoin. AI is most likely the other significant disruption there, in my opinion. Additionally, FTX and other things are surrounded by a lot of noise. However, when the technology is reduced to its most basic form, it performs three functions. One is that it permits a method of payment. Second, it makes it possible to program smart contracts into the coin. Third, it has a source of truth since it is a general ledger. Therefore, the owner of the token is the only one with the rights to it. Therefore, I won't need to use a third party if I sell it to Frank. Frank receives it along with all the rights. My favorite example is Rihanna, who released 300 NFTs worth 0.00033% royalties on one of her biggest songs just before the Super Bowl. I know she's only testing the market with this. Why is she able to accomplish that then? She is able to do so because Spotify can record the smart contract executing and stating, "I owe royalties here" when a Rihanna song is played. Therefore, no one needs to be involved. And since Frank is a huge admirer of Rihanna, it can accept the partial payment and transfer it to his account. He's got a few of those and he gets paid. Now consider any source of income or royalties that you may have. That you can now begin to democratize or fractionalize that and consider how it is an asset that is not connected to any of the conventional assets. For example, I believe that athletes would sign a large contract and tell their supporters, "I'm going to sell off tokens worth 10% of my future revenue stream. I'm going to, 100,000 tokens," and boom, the fans are going to probably pay a premium for it. It will be a sort of securitization on steroids if you think about it. And this technology is just making it possible. Additionally, it is making it possible for new fascinating businesses to emerge that will challenge some of the established business models of our day. Blockchain technology and cryptocurrency will upend a wide range of sectors. Additionally, Bitcoin was just ever a diversion. They want everyone to look at that. They do not want you to invest in DC, XRP, XLMX, or any other cryptocurrency. They encourage you to invest in Bitcoin without thinking twice. Since most people just see the opening of the video where she claims that Bitcoin is the biggest diversion from the biggest disruption to financial systems, I want to show you the full footage. Additionally, I must remind you that Franklin Templeton also offers an ETF for Bitcoin. It seems likely that they will follow Blackrock's path. At some point they will tokenize the Bitcoin ETFs. However, she was aware of what was about to happen. The majority of folks in this area are still pursuing memes. They're trying to find Bitcoin. They are investing $100 in Bitcoin every week in the hopes of finally obtaining a single Bitcoin. How could anyone possibly do that? Without becoming a complete coiner, I would never invest in anything. I would never invest in XRP if I didn't already possess at least one entire unit. There's no logic behind it. I'm telling you that you won't become wealthy from it. Ripple, SEC International Bar Association will establish a standard for the cryptocurrency sector. Now I discuss how laws will cause meme coins to vanish, but new cryptocurrencies will continue to emerge. In other words, additional cryptocurrencies will probably be introduced in the future, but they will probably pass the Ripple test rather than the Howey test. That's why the case as a whole was so significant. In addition to screening Ripple, it made it an XRP that could be strategically used within the United States, which is in my opinion the direction this is going. However, it also established a standard for all future cryptocurrency creations. It is truly revolutionary. Will the digital dollar be powered by Ripple? The XRP army believes so. I mean, consider it. You can see that Ripple was meeting with President Trump in 2017, 2018, 19, and 20. Back then they were discussing a digital dollar. They planned to pay that out in digital currency even with the stimulus. After that, Biden was in office for 4 years and nothing changed. They wanted to completely destroy the cryptocurrency sector, so it was like a crackdown, can impede innovation. Then in the summer of 2024, Ripple had a meeting with the president before he was even elected. As you are aware, the USD was already being set up to become the digital dollar of the United States. Although I believe there will be a number of stable coins, I believe that USD will be the one that truly takes off and gains traction in the US. However, XRP will have a significant and strategic role. It will transfer the US digital dollar from the US to the UK, the EU, and any other country it needs to travel to. US digital currencies will be available to third world nations. They genuinely desire that. The whole playing field will be leveled, and I believe that's where this is headed. However, it will still take some time to reach that point. However, the fact that they are now advocating for a digital dollar and using the term in the news from mainstream media indicates that this will happen soon. In 5 or 6 months, according to President Trump, the United States will experience a boom. Listen to it. Car plants are preparing to begin construction in light of the boom that our nation will see in 5 or 6 months due to all of the current events. Record numbers will be used to build them. The AI stuff that's happening there is insane. Spending is in the billions and trillions of dollars. And it will all begin in a short while. It's incredible. We have received investments of about $17 trillion in this nation. And when you see what transpires, we will have a prosperous nation like none we have ever had. Thus in 5 or 6 months. Now imagine what would occur in 5 or 6 months. Well, the entire season would already be underway. Over time, I believe that will become a utility run. I don't anticipate the significant setbacks that we have previously witnessed. In 5 to 6 months, the president is calling for a huge boom, and perhaps that will coincide with that. But I believe there will be a time of difficulty before it occurs. I continue to believe that bank consolidations will occur. Is the Fed going to lower interest rates? He has been keeping rates the same thus far. They hope for a rate drop in September and are not even anticipating one in August. We will have to wait to see where this goes. Asian nations scramble to adopt stable coin regulations and follow Trump's lead. Hong Kong, South Korea, and other countries are therefore vying to establish robust coin systems locally. I've been telling you what. The rest of the globe will accelerate as soon as the United States does. That's why I mentioned the updated 2030 timelines, and things will keep changing. It is likely that all of the important things will occur during the following 24 months. The digital euro is already available and might arrive in October. In my opinion, the UK will probably follow the stable coin route. They currently feel conflicted regarding stable coins and CBDC. China, Russia, and the BRICS. They also wish to develop their own currency. Many things will occur in a short amount of time. Although it's difficult to predict how soon this may occur, I do know one thing. It will occur well before 2030. Wrath of Common is the source of this. The application for an OCC banking license from Ripple is currently accessible. The public release is Volume 1. There are hints regarding Ripple's structure and goals throughout the application.